Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Shaka is with us in the studio. Robbo and Jan are back with us. Jan, do you want to just tell us the story you were telling us of the reaction of someone at Selhurst Park?
Yeah, it was interesting. I did 3 English games this weekend, and I was at Selhurst Park. At halftime, I was going down for an interview, and this guy in the front row behind the goal, he said, Jan, come over here. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, just come over. You know, when you're at the ESPN, what's wrong with this Craig Burley? He's grumpy all the time. Yeah. And of course, I had to tell the truth that he's smiling all the time. This is just a role he does on TV.
What Craig Burley have you met yet? that is the most asked question I get from people is Craig Burley really like that in real life? And the answer is 100% yes.
And even in London, Dan, all over the place.
Yes, definitively. I think it is well known how grumpy Burley is. I think he's back this week from his holiday. And he'll go, I haven't been on, I haven't been away. Yeah. Well, I haven't seen anything. That's what I'll get. I haven't watched anything.
Good luck, Dad.
Robert, there was a dry pitch gripe from Klopp after the game at Fulham yesterday. How does a dry pitch affect the game player performance? What's the worst pitch ground you've played at top level?
Well, the worst pitch I played at were the 2 plastic pitches at QPR and Luton Town. They were the worst pitches. And in the 80s, at the start of the season, the pitches were good. Yeah, they might be a bit dry. The grass was a bit long, which slowed the ball down. And that's what Klopp was probably arguing about or moaning about. The ball didn't roll particularly smoothly. But come sort of February time, pitches were starting to get hard. There wasn't as much water put on the pitches, not so much grass on pitches in those days. That's when they became bobbly. And one of the worst ones was Highbury. That was a terrible pitch in the late or the early 80s. They played a couple of semi-finals there, and both managers absolutely hated the pitch. So there was a lot of bad pitches in those days. But the reason he's talking about it being dry, the ball doesn't run as smoothly.
Oh, okay.
But it's true that there are some teams doing that. But it was funny now at Craven Cottage because Fulham put some photos out showing how much they're watering the pitch. So I think that was Jurgen Klopp. I don't think he meant that so seriously. He was first by me. He just talked about what he had done wrong, what the team has done wrong, and then it ended up being that dry pitch. So I think that was just a frustration of the performance of Liverpool on Saturday.
You know, I'm with Jan. I don't think Klopp meant it as that much of an excuse. And Rob was right in pointing out dry pitches slow the game down, etc., etc. But it's roasting hot in England. So even if you water it before, it dries off. And I think he was just seeing it.
It's not roasting hot in England.
It's hot.
Roasting
it's hot.
My point is, I think when he said that, it was more to his team in that when pitches dry out, you have to be able to adjust your game. And Liverpool clearly didn't. So I thought that was more a criticism of his team's inability to adjust than it was a criticism of Fulham.
What do you prefer as a goalkeeper in a pitch?
I prefer a nice slick surface as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, like a dry pitch.
Because the bounce is truer. When it has a little damp on top, it does the pitch is truer. So it doesn't. Sometimes when it's dry, the ball bounces higher. The bounce is more inconsistent.
Did you play in the plastic pitch with the Luton Town or the
I played in Preston's.
What's that like as a keeper?
Awful. I played in Preston's. I played in Costa Rica at World Cup qualifiers. But then, both Robo and Jan remember this. Manchester United's pitch back in the day, come January, February, was just awful because of how high the sides of Old Trafford were.
Yeah, you didn't get any sun.
Wouldn't get, and so they would always have to change the pitch to
Would you ever not dive and just kind of go... So you wouldn't hurt your elbow?
Go how? Go, let me see that. I do not recall ever doing anything like that, Dan.
Oh, it looks a bit rough down there. I don't think I'm going to do a dive. Oh, they can't blame me for that. Jan, what's wrong with Sancho? He looks like Eden Hazard at Real Madrid.
So this guy or this girl or whoever asked this question saw Manchester United today, and he singled out Sancho. What's wrong with him? I mean, what's wrong with everyone at Manchester United? What's wrong with the management going at Donatovic? What's wrong with everybody in and around the club at the moment? So if Sancho is like taking out, single out, Sancho's actually had a quite good preseason. So it's probably less wrong with him, like 1,000 other things at that club.
what may surprise you to learn is when Robbo was coaching, he actually got on well with the youngsters. So I ask you this, Robbo, is what would you do to help Jadon Sancho?
You somehow got to give him confidence. You've got to work with him, I would say, and do some one-on-one work with him, because he can be. I saw him as a young player playing for Man City's youth team. I saw him play for the England under-17s, where he was the best player in the tournament, the European Championships. And he went past people with great confidence. He went past them with speed. He went past them with trickery. Today, and when I've seen him last season, he hasn't got that about him at the moment. He wants to do it, but it's not able to do it at the moment. So he needs to get his confidence back. 1v1s, get him against a young player, you know, a reserve team player, let him go past him a few times, get crosses into the box, get shots away. But he's got to be given that confidence, because at the moment he looks though he's lacking confidence. And a player of his quality and the things he does, you need to be playing at the top of your game and playing with confidence. And he's not doing that.
And the funny thing is, Dan, is that Sancho is taken as an example of coming from Bundesliga, struggling in England. So is Timo Werner. The only thing that Haaland will ruin that. It's okay. He was
we haven't got to Haaland. Well. No one's asked about Haaland yet, Jan.
Everything's about
Not
Haaland.
Everything has to be about Haaland.
The answer is Imba, always Haaland. Always.
Whatever the question, the answer's Haaland. We talked about Ten Hag a lot on the show already, but if you're Ten Hag, you've already moved on from De Jong. How do you handle losing your opener to Brighton, considering the players' attitude on the pitch today? Going back to your coaching days, Robbo, what do you do? Get them in on a day off? Give them, where do you stand on how to try and get this team performing again?
Well, I was interested in how he was going to cope when they weren't doing particularly well, because when a new manager comes in with a new philosophy and he wants them to play a certain style of football, and you start off with the way he obviously wants to play, with a back four, two centre-backs, the holding midfield player, two midfield players playing inside right and inside left, making forward runs, two really wide players. And I was interested to see how he developed that as the game went on. But because it wasn't successful, he went away from that. So all the pre-season work that he's done and all the work he's done on the training field, after 45 minutes, he has to change it slightly, because he then brings Ronaldo on to play through the middle. They then looked a little bit out of shape at times. So he's got to stick with what he believes is his best formation. He's got to make them better at doing that. You can't change and chop and change after just one game. He's got to try and get his ideas across, which he's been doing in pre-season. He's got to then stick with it for as many games as possible, maybe the first 10 games, and then build on that once he knows he's got the format right. At the moment, I think the players played so poorly and the system didn't work that he's almost in two minds now whether to change it after one game.
What's striking, Jan? You've obviously played at the highest level. I don't know if it's just me looking in, not really know what I'm talking about, but there doesn't seem to be anybody on that pitch, in that starting 11 or in that squad, that you could feel could step up and get a reaction from the side, from their teammates, from their colleagues, kind of bring them together and get the best out of them.
No, that's a fair analysis, Dan. I see it exactly the same way, because the problem with Manchester United at the moment, and I was in that last answer as well, is about the culture. There is a culture in and around the club now. Now they've tried everything. They tried Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, a former Manchester United player. They tried a professor from Germany, known for building up clubs. Now it's Ten Hag with a proven philosophy from Ajax. And I agree with Robbo. He will do it over time, and he will. But as you saying, when you have a look at that pitch, there is no one who seems to rise the game. Nobody expect, well, he will do this, he will do that, and he will be the soldier at the beginning there saying, you go behind me, I will sort this out. And the sad thing for Manchester United fans, this is not only on the pitch. Off the pitch, the culture of the club is terrible as well. And this De Jong saga that we've had all summer, it just reminds me more and more of Dumb and Dumber, when Jim Carrey is standing in the door and asking for this girl, and this girl says, not one in a million, and he says, yes, there is a chance. There is a chance. And Manchester United shouldn't do that. They should. They could date Jennifer Aniston. You know that, Dan.
So, do you know whose favourite movie Dumb and Dumber is, Jan? Who's on the show regularly?
It's probably Stevie.
No.
No?
No.
Not far off.
Craig Burley.
Not far off.
Craig
Burley doesn't like comedies.
Grumpy.
Don Hutchinson.
Yeah, of course. I should have known that. He could have played in that film.
Yeah, which one is he? Dumb or dumber?
50-60 of being the dumb.
Robbo, how can you possibly believe Man United will finish above Arsenal? Is your only argument really that they can't be that bad again when they were that bad again today? Arsenal have improved with Jesus up top and Saliba at the back.
Yeah, if you listen to what I actually said in the previous one, I wasn't sure how Manchester United would do, so I thought that Ten Hag might come in at last and be a coach that would improve them or get them in a shape and make sure they get the best out of each player. And Arsenal, on their day, as we saw at the weekend, are an excellent side. When everything's going well and everything's going Arsenal's way, I think they can beat anybody. They look an excellent side. But we've seen over the last few years, when things start to go wrong for Arsenal, they then lose their way completely and maybe lose 3 or 4 on the trot. Then they don't seem to be able to understand what's going wrong. Arteta doesn't seem to be able to change it immediately and resurrect their sort of season in the next match. So that's why I put Arsenal down in 6th. On their day, and I think they're probably maybe even the best team, apart from Man City at the moment, maybe even the best team in the league, the way they're playing. But over the course of the season, they're going to have some bad spells.
So on that point, Robbo, has anyone's opinions of who will be relegated or finish top 4 change after watching game week 1? Have you changed your mind?
Yeah, I would say if anybody watching Manchester United today would say they're going to be nowhere near the top 4 because it's going to take Ten Hag a lot longer than the 10 games I was talking about to get his philosophy across and get the team pattern going right and get the best out of the players. It's going to take him longer than that. They're going to have some bad spells. They're going to have some good games, I'm sure, because he is a good coach. But I think Manchester United, I would take out the top 4, and Chelsea maybe and Arsenal moving up.
Oh, that was Robert being nice to Arsenal. That's a first.
I'm not sure how to respond to that.
Did you have United in the top 4?
No.
Well, you're right then. Yeah, and did you?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I had Tottenham in 3rd, and they confirmed that. But I'm with Rob with Manchester. But I had with Rob with Manchester United because it's going to be so hard for them because changing culture is not only by buying players, and you can have someone, you can have a savior coming in when you see the players they are linked with, there's not much savior over them.
We, of course, discussed relegation. The general consensus was those that came up are going to go straight back down. We saw Forest lose against Newcastle. Fulham put up a good fight against Liverpool. Meanwhile, Bournemouth, didn't they beat Villa 2-0? Have you changed your mind as who would be relegated from what we saw in the first?
No.
Did you go for those 3?
I went for the promoted 3. And listen, to stay up as a promoted team, you have to get off to a good start. I think 2 of them did. But still, I just feel over the long course, I'm not changing my mind on that on one day.
Robbo?
I think
hey, you're not Robbo, Jan.
Sorry, Robbo. Sorry.
You carry on, Jan. You carry on. You're in full flight. You know,
he's excited.
As you were as a player, always in full flight, taking the ball off other people.
No, I'm just very enthusiastic about what I saw at Fulham because Fulham did a right thing against Liverpool. I like the way they played. I like the atmosphere in Craven Cottage. I think there could be a surprise this season. I think Silva is a very good coach. As long as they don't start with this playing out from the back. Playing out from the back when you are Fulham FC should be forbidden. All teams at the down part of the table in the Premier League shouldn't play out from the back. They tried a couple of times in Craven Cottage and Liverpool nearly scored every time.
So there's no answer in there, Jan.
I say that I can't remember who I got for relegation.
I wasn't listening to myself.
It's just noise.
I wasn't listening to myself.
Robbo?
Well, I said Nottingham Forest might survive when I saw them last season, but then most of their good players were on loan and have gone back to their parent clubs. And when I saw them against Newcastle yesterday, they were very poor, they were disorganised. But Stevie Cooper is a good manager. I think they're going to be touch and go whether they go down. I put Brentford in the bottom 3. They had a good comeback against Leicester, so maybe I got that wrong. But that's going to be a difficult one.
Apparently, you had Brentford as well, Jan, alongside Fulham. And who was the other one? Bournemouth, did you tell me? Bournemouth.
Yeah, as we know, come to the end of the season, it's going to be excitement to follow those tips. The last 37 games will decide it. But I will stick to my 3.
You just said you liked Fulham.
Yeah, I like Fulham, but I still think Did I say Fulham?
Yes. You said Fulham.
Next question, please.
It's been a long weekend, Jan, a long weekend.
Final question, and it's to Jan. Here we go. Goodness me.
Okay.
Erling Haaland.
It's quite, yes, yes. Who will score more goals, Sadio Mane or Lewandowski, and why is it Erling Haaland?
No, but on a serious note, it's quite unbelievable to see here in England as well now with Nunez against Haaland, and we just played one game and the Community
that
Shield.
question's Mane or Lewandowski?
Oh yeah. Oh, so that was just your personal second question of that part. Okay, I have to put my glasses on that. Now, Sadio Mane, a fantastic start at Bayern Munich. It's like he's been there all his career. He's so integrated in the Mannschaft, in the team. Today he was sitting watching Bayern Munich second team play. So, but you just get a feeling. Robert Lewandowski in a friendly today scored his first goal at Camp Nou, and I think he will end up scoring more goals than Mane.
Who do you think, Shane?
Lewandowski.
Lewandowski?
I think again registered at this point.
Oh yes, that's very serious, scary,
Well,
very
just
serious, important. No, there.
He might score 0 goals this season. The way Barcelona going.
That's it, Robbo. What's your plans for the rest of the week now?
Oh, I've got a nice week ahead of me. We're actually going away for a couple of days before La Liga starts next weekend, and it's all comes to
Where are you
work
going?
again. So a couple of days away, that should be nice. We're going to Suffolk. I've made sure the gardener's going to put all the hoses on in my garden, even though there's a hose pipe ban, but just make sure the plants are all nice.
Oh,
and
dear.
and
Robbo,
green.
water is a precious
Suffolk,
resource
a
at the
place called
moment.
Southwold.
So your garden.
Yeah, precious for my garden. It's very precious for my garden, let me tell you.
What a treat for the family, Suffolk. Jan, do you just live in England now in the hotel?
No, I have to go home. I will go home. And then on Wednesday is a Super Cup final between my old club, Eintracht Frankfurt. We had a fantastic game against Bayern, 6-1. So that's going to be an interesting game. And next week is 3 Premier League games again. And so there's a lot of football to be seen the coming week.
Where is the Super Cup, Jan? Where are you going for that?
I'm not going to Helsinki. I do it on TV in the studio, but it's Helsinki. Yeah.
Oh, why is it there?
Because UEFA are politicians and they send this Super Cup final around Europe. But just watch it. In some time, it will get to USA as every other game.
There's a very loaded comment there, but I think we should wrap this up, Dan.
Is Helsinki nicer than Norway?
No, not at all. But Helsinki is part of our neighborhood, so you would do. The Finns are great people, so you can have a good time in Helsinki if you like. If you like sauna. If you like the sauna.
Antti Niemi, when he was at Southampton, he was always very nice to me. That's it. He was
nicer
than
Jan.
Nicer than Jan is to you? Was he nicer than Jan is to you?
Yeah, that's that old that's the old phone-in, isn't it, on Talk Sport, where some Scottish person saying we should have Antti Niemi. He should come and play for Scotland, and he goes, no, he's finished, and he goes, no, he's not finished. I saw him play last week. He was great. Hey. There we go. Boom, boom. There you are. Enjoy Suffolk, Robbo. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.